This is the final video in our series on this grade 12 CAT or Computer Application Technology Prac Exam, paper 1 from November 2017. We're dealing with the last question, which requires a bit of working with multiple packages and a little bit of thinking, some complex questions that we need to think about, and let's get into it. Let's get to this last question done. Okay, so they've asked us to open up a spreadsheet called 7Calc, which I've got done over here, and they want me to do the following. They want a palindromic number is a number that is the same when written forward and backward. Examples, so you see 343, if you write it backwards, 343, it's the same number. Determine whether a random number is a palindromic number by completing the following steps. Okay, so they give us the steps. So let's break it down step by step. Replace the number in A3 with a randomly generated 3-digit number. So we're going to come over here, we're going to come here to that number, A3, and we don't want to say 234, we want to make it a random number. So we're going to say equals rand between. Now we can use rand, but that only does a random number between 0 and 1, but we want rand between. And the reason why we want rand between is because we can specify the lowest number and the biggest number. So what's the lowest or the smallest 3-digit number that you know? If you said 100, then you're correct, because if we go below 100, it's 99. And then what's the biggest 3-digit number that you know? Well, the biggest possible number is 999. So if I do that range, it will generate a random number between 100 and 999. So that's one way of doing it. You could have done each character individually. For example, you could have said equals rand between, and you could have said the first number, the bottom number. Now you can't say 0 to 9 because the first number can't be a 0. It must be at least a 1. So you could go from 0 to 9, and then you go and you're going to add onto it a rand between a number from 0 to 9. So you can do that type of thing. That seems very long though. I don't like that. I like doing this one. Rand between 100 and 999. That seems to be the way that I like to do it. So we've done the first step. Extract the first digit of the randomly generated number in B3. So we want the first digit. The first digit, which is that 2, which is the number to the what? Is it to the right or to the Beyonce? To the left, to the left, to the left. So we're going to use our left function, and we're going to say the left of this block here, and we want just one character, please. So I want the left character. So I know it says 8 now because our random numbers changed, but it's definitely getting the left character, the Beyonce character. To the left, to the left. And then I'm assuming the last character means we're going to get the last one. So extract the last digit. Now we know that this is a 3-digit number, so we can extract the third digit, or we can extract from the opposite of the Beyonce, which is the right. So we're going to go from the right for one character. So equals to the right of this block for one character. And there we go. So whatever the number is on that side, we've got it there, and whatever the number is on the other side, we've got it. So let's try press something and just change it. There we go. So it is working. There we go. It is definitely working. So they're not the same. So there were 3 and the 2. That's great. And then they want me to do what? In D3, we must check whether it's a palindromic. If it is a palindromic number, display yes and no. Okay, so they've given me a clue here about the first and the last digit. If you think about it, if it's a 3-digit number, I don't really care about the middle digit, because that middle digit is always going to be the same whether you read it forwards and backwards, because it's a 3-digit number. That's always the middle one. But I need the first digit and the last digit to be the same. If you look at the examples here, the first digit and the last digit must always be the same for it to be a palindromic number. So we must display the word yes if it's palindromic and no if it's not, which means I think over here we're going to use an if statement, not a plus if statement, equals if statement. If the first character is the same as the last character, then we know that it is a palindromic number, so we can say the word yes. And if it's not, then we're going to say the word no. Is that all they wanted me to say? Just display the word yes or no. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's click enter. There we go. So at the moment it's a no, but we'll just type some stuff till we get one option. All of those are no. Oh, there we go. That is a palindromic, and it did say yes. Fantastic. So we know that it's working. There we go. I think that's correct. I think that's all done. Fantastic. There are other ways of doing this, but that's the way I did it. But as long as you get it working and it works for all the cases, then you will get all the marks. So there are many ways of doing these problem solving ones. So let's save it and let's move to the next one. Now let's work in the vouch worksheet. So there's another, this one. Let's go to this one. Okay. So yeah, we've got some names. Let's go. And they say all the visitors who celebrate their birthday from today onwards will receive a wine voucher. And so we must insert a function in E2 to display true if the visitor qualifies for a voucher or false if they do not. So how do we know if they have had their birthday or not? Let's see what information. So we've got their date of birth. We know what day they were born. So there we got it. So how do I know if they've had their birthday? So we know that today, to get today's date, I'm going to say equals today. Open bracket, close bracket. You see, that is today's date that I'm doing this exact example. So that's today's date. If your birthday is in the same year as this year, but it's after. So what I'm trying to say, if your birthday for this year, which means we take the exact same of your birthday, we want the same day, we want the same month, we want this year. If your birthday is bigger than today, that means it hasn't happened yet. Remember, if you think about dates, the bigger the number, the later it is. So 2023 is a bigger number than 2022, which means that that is a later date. How do we do that? I want to first construct your birth date for today. So I'm using these as building blocks. You're allowed to do this. I'm going to just move that to the side there, make that a bit bigger. So I'm going to put the birth dates. How do I work out the birth date? So equals, now we know that we can make a date. We can put the date. So if I put date like that, then we can give it a year, a month, and a day. So we want to give it today's date. Now I could type in 2023, but that might not work for every year. I want it for the year of today. So that is, I'm actually going to break it up further. I want to get equals the year of today. You see, we've got 2023. That's fantastic. And then I want the month that you were born, because I don't want the 10th, I want the month you were born. I want the day and the month of this year. So I've got this year and I want the month that you were born, and then I want the day you were born. So that's using my date functions. So do you see how I extracted the 20, the 6, and then the 2023? So I used the year function, the month function, and the day function. Okay, so I've got those values, and then I can say your birth date. So this is your, I'm just going to label it year, month, day, that's today. And then over here, we're going to say your birth day this year. Birthday this year is going to be equals date, and we're going to say it's that year with that month with that day. So let's just see if we get that right. So that if you were born on the 20th of June in 1971, then your birthday this year will be the 20th of June this year. That makes sense. So now I can say, now there are lots of ways of doing a true or false. They say we must just display the words true or false. Now you could use an if statement. That would be the one I would understand. Equals if your birthday this year is a bigger number, it's a later number than today. So we can see that the 6th of that day, you've already had your birthday this year. So if we are in October, you've already had your birthday earlier. So this person will be a false. If your birthday is a bigger number than today, then we want to say the word true. But if it's not, then we want to say the word false. So this one should be false. Do you see? Because they've had their birthday already. But this person over here, there we go, that person, you see, the 16th. So if I just copy all this down to that one, there we go. I'm going to copy all this down. If I go and I copy this down, you see this is true because the 16th of October, you've still got to have your birthday this year. Therefore, it is a bigger number than today, which means it'll say true. So there we go. So if I copy all this down, it should work. You could also do this all in one formula, but you can break it up into little bits. Also, just another thing, you don't actually have to use an if statement. You can just ask that question. If you ever have a statement equal, so you can say equals 7 greater than 9. Is that true? Or 7 is not greater than 9. If you say equal, that will say false. So you can actually just state that statement. So we can actually say equals your birth date, which is going to be date. And we can do it in one step. We're going to say the year of today. And we want the month of your birthday. And we want the day of your birthday. So I'm constructing the birthday. So that's going to give me the date of your birthday. If that date is a bigger number than today, then you haven't had your birthday yet. Then it's a false. And then we can just drag that down and it will work. As long as we drag the today down. You could probably use a function for R2 to have absolute cell referencing, but if we do that, it should work. They haven't mentioned anything about that, but we copy it for the rest of the visitors. So if I just copy all of this down, if I just press escape and copy all of this down, all the way down to the bottom, boom, 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 there we go, all the way down. And then I can just come over here and then just click over there, click over there, click over there, click over there. And then I can come here and click over there, and there we can see all the trues. That person's birthday is still coming. That person's birthday is still coming. So there we go. So that's how you can do it. So you can either do it in little building blocks. You are allowed to do that. and you're also allowed to do it in one step. Just a reminder, if you use the if statement, you can say if it's true or false. If you don't use the if statement, you can just ask the question if something's greater than or less than or equal to. It'll return true or false. You can do that as well. So I think that's okay. I think that'll get us the marks, all 7 marks. So we just need to do the last one now. Let's do the last one. Save the spreadsheet. Okay, please, let's save. We don't want to lose this. We've done so much hard work. Use the data. So we're using this data. We want to create a report in the database. Now I've opened up the database. The database has nothing in it. That's fantastic. And we can't create a report on no table. So we need a table. So I'm first going to save this and we're going to close this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get external data and I want to import from that spreadsheet. So I'm going to come from a file. I want it from an Excel file, and I'm going to go find that file quickly. Let's browse for it. So there we go. We were using that 7 calc one. So that's the one I want. I want to open that one and import it into a new table. Yes, we're going to click OK. And which spreadsheet do we want? Which worksheet, sorry, do we want? And which worksheet? We don't want that one. We wanted that second one. There we go. There we go. We want that one. Thank you. We're going to go click on next. And so yes, some of them don't have values. That's okay. We'll click OK because I think we did all that calculation on the side. So I'm not too stressed about that. Yes, our first row has columns. There we go. We're going to click on next. That's fantastic. What I'm going to do, if you remember, we needed this. We needed this one. That's short text. That's short text. That's a date. That's worked it out. And then we've got a voucher. Do they want the voucher in it? No, they don't. They don't want the voucher. We could have it in there if we wanted to. But these ones, this was my calculating. Remember all this calculation that I did? So I don't want them to import this field. So they must skip this one, please. And on that one, we must skip that one, please. And on that one, we also want to skip that one. And this one we can skip. And this one we can skip. These are all my calculations that I was doing, if you remember correctly. Some random stuffs that we were doing. Yeah, let's skip all this. I don't need all of that. So there we go. So let's go next and see what it does. Next. And do we want a primary key? They don't mention anything about a primary key. I'm just going to skip that step. It's good to have a primary key, but I'm going to say no primary key for now, please. Thank you. Go next. And we want to import it in. And do they say anything about a name? They don't say a name, but they do mention that the report must have a name. So that's fine. I'm just going to give it table TBL data. Let's call it that. And click finish. Let's see what it does. So we can click close. And there's my table. And if you look at the table, there's all the data, and it skipped those ones that we didn't want. So there we go. So we've got everything we need. Fantastic. Now that I've got that, close that table. They want me to create a report based on that table. Well, that seems quite simple. So we're going to now go here to create, and we're going to come here to report. We're going to use the report Harry Potter. Wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. And we're going to use our table. We're going to use all the fields, but I don't want that last one. We didn't, if you look here, we didn't actually use that last one. So I'm just going to skip that one. No, thank you. We just want those 4. Thank you. Go next. And what else do they want? They don't mention anything else. There's no other details that I can see about this report. It doesn't look like there's any grouping or anything like that. So let's just keep going. So we're not going to add any grouping. We're not going to add any sorting. Nope, let's not do that. Just keep everything in the default. What is the title of your report? If you look here, it's RPT. It's this. This is the report name. Copy that and type that there. RPT 7_2 and click finish. Oh, there we go. And by following the report Harry Potter, Wizard, we've got our report. Let's just close it and just see that we've got everything that we want. We've got that heading, we've got name, got all the field names at the top, and then we've got all of them like that. Let's go double check. Let's go view it quickly. And yep, I think it looks pretty close to this. Okay, there we go. So there we go. We could specify that it's not got colors and stuff like that, or we can make this a bit bigger. That's something that we could do. So we're going to come here to design view, and we want this field. We're going to make this a bit smaller and make the date of birth a bit bigger. Let's make that a bit bigger, that a bit bigger as well. Not move it. We want to make this one a bit bigger like that. Boom. So we can see the fields. Let's go look at it now. There we go. We can actually see the fields, and we'll make it a little bit more bigger as well, just to give it so we can see the headings. There we go. Okay, DOB. There we go. So there we go. I think it looks all good. There we go. And it looks very similar to what we want. There we go. We can adjust things. It's only 3 marks. I think that's enough work for the 3 marks. We did the importing, we got it into a table, and we did the creating of the report. So I think that's enough for the 3 marks. Use the mark allocation to guide you about how much work. We could spend forever trying to make it look exactly, but I think that's good enough. Okay, so there we go. That's the paper done. I hope it's been useful. Just a reminder that if you're looking for help for your theory paper, make sure you check out our computer terms channel at Mr. Long Computer Terms. And there you'll find videos that can help you for theory. Make sure you go to the playlist of our YouTube channel to get other exam papers. Make sure you go to our computer theory channel at Mr. Long Computer Terms, and follow us on TikTok at Mr. Long Education. And remember, don't do it the long way. Do it the Mr. Long way.